Hey, what's up everyone? I'm really excited for this video because it's actually the first time in my YouTube career. This is the first time that I have been sponsored. But trust me, it's gonna be very interesting. So this company, FIFINE, reached out to me and sent me this beautiful microphone in this box. And because I want to make this video as interesting as possible, I'm gonna produce one full song using only this microphone, my guitar, my voice, and everything around me that I will find in the studio, but nothing else. The whole sound that you're gonna hear in this video is gonna be recorded with the microphone. Thanks a lot to the good people at FIFINE, I hope that's how you pronounce it, to sponsor this video. If you're here for the finished song, you can skip ahead to the end to see how it sounds. A full song with only a $70 microphone. I love these challenges with limitations and stuff, but yeah, let's see what we can do with this beautiful little microphone. First, I'm going to show you a little bit what the microphone is capable of, and then I'm going to let you decide if you like it or not in the production. This microphone is a USB microphone, so you can just plug it in and start recording. You're not going to need any audio interface because you actually have everything that you need right here. It has this button that can light in green and in red, depending on whether your microphone is switched on or off, and two controls here on the back side. One is for the headphones, and one is for how loud the mic is going to be. So if you're a screamer, you turn it down, and if you're whispering very closely, you can turn it up to make it a little bit louder. It came inside this beautiful square box and comes with a user guide. I was able to set it up very fast. It has this practical stand, and you just have to plug in the USB at the bottom. It even has a headphone jack, so it's like a little audio interface in the microphone. If you want to, you can also put it on a microphone stand. If you have a microphone stand, it might be helpful, especially when you're recording guitars or something else. If you're recording your voice, put it on a microphone stand with this little screw here. Damn, bro. Right, let's connect it to Logic and let's start. Hello, test 1, 2, 3. So I think this microphone is mainly used for voiceovers or for gamers because it's very simple to set up and you just have to plug it in and play. As I am a musician, I'm not just gonna talk about it, I'm gonna record a song with it. What good would this microphone be if I couldn't even record music with it? Because a good microphone for me has to be able to help me in my music production. Let's see if this is a fit or not. Let's go. Alright, first thing we're gonna do, record some guitars. So we're gonna start with some acoustic guitar. We don't have the ability to plug an electric guitar in. We'll find a way to make it work. I was thinking of doing a little bit of the song with the brand name FIFINE, like in the sense of you got me feeling FIFINE. I don't get paid for this video, they just sent me the free microphone, but I think it would be a cool way to incorporate the brand into the video. I'm gonna be back tracking some guitars. Let's go. Let me tap the tempo. I'm feeling fine. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next thing we want to do, record some percussion. I like to use my chest or my body to make sounds, for example snaps or this, and then pitch it down and make a bass drum with it. I've got some pencils here as well to make a hi-hat. Yeah, anything that can make sound will be used in this video, even this screw part here. We're gonna see what we can do. And last thing, vocals. I am also not gonna use any MIDI instruments except for ones created with the microphone. For that, I'm gonna do some really cool stuff in Logic using the sampler and recording my voice, pitching it a little bit, changing the sound, and then turning it into an instrument in Logic. So yeah, I haven't done this too many times before, but I'm really excited about the challenge with this one very inexpensive microphone. So let's see how that is going to turn out. I am very excited. Let's go. Alright, I have recorded some samples right now for my voice, and I'm going to show you how I'm gonna use them in Sampler in right a minute. Alright, I recorded a handful of cool sounds right now. I recorded like this sound and my guitar and a lot of clapping sounds. I even recorded this thing here containing poppy seeds. I don't know what it's called. Maybe it's just called a poppy. Yeah, I recorded that. It's a perfect shaker. So let's see what we can do with that. I'm gonna try to create a bass drum now. For that, we are gonna have to take one of these drum samples here and listen to one that already has like a bass drum type character, something that is already a little bit lower sounding. Then we render it out in Logic onto a new track. On this new track, I will create my bass drum sound. So I want to roll off a lot of the high end. Maybe I'm gonna pitch it a little bit around the place and add some processing to make it feel a little bit more like a bass drum. I really want it to feel full and boomy and bassy, so I might just add CLA bass. That's a plugin by Waves, and it adds really beautiful frequencies at the bottom. There's also another one that's called sub bass, which might be useful. Once we are done creating the sound, we are going to import that into Logic Sampler. Here, the sampler functions as a MIDI instrument, so we can play the bass drum just like we would do any drum. We can even play different pitches if we want to. I think that's pretty cool. We are going to do the same steps for a snare sound. I've got some snaps and some things that might work as a snare, but let's just see. This is just basically a guitar strum, but we turn it into a snare. First, I'm going to apply the settings here in CLA Drums, a Waves plugin. Giving it a little bit of more spank and grit here in the high end. Pitch shifting it just a little bit up. This is where the snare magic comes in. Snare BUZZ. It's a free plugin. It adds the sound of the snares here down at the bottom of the snare, and you can play with the mic distance and the tightness to make it even more snarey. Another CLA Drums to process it a little bit more. And we got a snare sound. If you want, you can add some reverb, but I'm going to add that on the actual MIDI track. And we do the same as we did with the bass drum. Create a new sampler. First, what we have to do is to bounce it, snare, and in this one we drag the snare. Choose the right starting point. This here will allow you to have the same speed of the sound depending on the pitch. And I did the same process to create hi-hats, snaps. Well, snaps were actually just real snaps. This is what my snare sounds. I added another snare buzz, added some saturation, compression. And now the last step is I'm going to show you how to create this instrument, which I think sounds pretty cool. And I actually made a humming sound. It sounds a little bit weird here, but in the context of a mix, it sounds quite nice. It gives like a backing vocal vibe, and I even made this instrument. Sort of an organ vibe. So yeah, these are the instruments that I made with my vocal samples, with parts like these. For example, the Let's just choose that for now. And I'm going to show you how to create an instrument with that. With the vocals, we are going to take one of my notes that I sang. I don't really want to do too much. I'm just going to put that sample into the sampler straight away. And the sampler is going to do the rest. We can play around with the sample here. We can deform it. And I'm going to add all of my effects right onto the sampler channel to make it sound more like an instrument, to give it a different character than my voice already has. It kind of sounds like a cow or something. I wanted to stay in the same tempo, so I turned this on. Okay, let's get it a little bit. Okay, not really sure about the sound yet. What you really might want to do is, this sound fades out pretty quickly. You can actually loop it so it continues forever. First I'm going to create a smoother intro here. And then we want to loop it. Mode, forward loop. And this is where you can choose the loop. Here you can see what is being played, and once it reaches this point, it's going to loop back to here. We can extend this and try to find a moment where it sounds pretty consistent. That's quite an interesting sounding wave. Right, here you can fine tune the pitch if you want, and you can add some filter to really give it a different character. Oh, that's a little bit much. The more you reduce this here, the more mellow your instrument's gonna sound. I think that makes quite for a nice organ. And what we want to do now is change the sound a little bit more in the EQ and compression, and we can add some effects to turn it into an actual instrument. I want to bring out some more of the highs. Let's just add some exciter. It's beginning to sound a lot like an organ, in my opinion. Right, I think we already got quite something going on here. Let's just see how we can bring that into the context of a mix. You see how easy it is to create an instrument using your voice or using anything that you recorded in Logic. And in my opinion, you can create some really, really interesting effects. There you go, you created a new instrument, which was all created using this one microphone right here. Everything that you hear in the song, from the drums to the pianos and everything, is recorded with this microphone. Some are made with the sampler, so there are some a little bit unconventional instruments. So don't judge me on the drum sound so much, rather listen to the guitars and the vocals, because that is what you would usually record with this type of microphone, and not these weird wacko drums that I made like this, or by slapping my guitar. So don't judge the drums and the production too much, but listen to how clear the vocals can really sound with this $80 microphone. Yeah, I would say it gets a thumbs up from me, and maybe if I make some live streams in the future, I'm gonna bring this one because it is quite easy to use. I've been losing sleep over you. You got me feeling weak, so confused. Feels like diving off the deep end into the sea of gold, red and blue. Just like I'm in out the cold into your soul. So good, feels like sunlight on my skin and in my eyes. I've been waiting for you on the edge of breaking into. Without you I'm drifting, confused, so selfless I'm doomed. I've been feeling so apart, do nothing on my own so far. You're the conqueror of my mind, subdued. Without you I'm confused. God damn, the guitar actually sounds pretty nice. So, what are my final thoughts on the microphone? I think it was very surprising how well it actually reproduced the guitar's character. It sounded pretty accurate to what I hear when I play the guitar. That is a clear bonus. I think in this song you can get some really beautiful vocals out of this microphone. Yeah, it all depends on what you put into the microphone. If you sing nicely, obviously it's gonna sound better than if you don't. So yeah, I mean, I might be a little bit biased because I got the microphone for free, but I assume that it is worth its money. And maybe if I make some live streams in the future, I'm gonna bring this one because it is quite easy to use. Instead of plugging in my audio interface and then plugging in a microphone into that, I plug in the FIFINE microphone and I got a very decent result. If you want, I can do vocal comparison between this microphone here, my Rode NT1A, the Shure SM7B, and the Rode Procaster to really get a difference. Obviously they're gonna have a very different character because some of them are condensers and some are dynamic. But if you're interested, comment that down below. I really hope you liked this video. It was a lot of fun to make and it took me quite some time because I wanted to make it as interesting as possible and not just another product review video, but actually something that you will have some fun in watching. So if I was able to do that, press like, and maybe I'm gonna see you next time I upload a video. Goodbye. Every day you got me feeling fine. When you text me I can get you off my mind. Every day you got me feeling fine. When you text me I can get you off my mind. Every day you got me feeling fine. Really fine.